Okay, today we're going to keep practicing factoring. I'm going to show you a couple different options though. So we're going to stick at first with the guess and check. But then I'm also going to show you another option which is called the slip and slide. And then I just want you to go with whatever option you're better at. Alright, so with the guess and check, we need to write down the factors of A. So factors of 2 are 1 and 2. So remember, that's your A, your B, and your C. Then I'm going to write down my factors of 3, such as 1 and 3. This is nice because I don't have a lot to guess, so I'm going to get it pretty quickly. So there's always 2 possibilities for every set of numbers over here. So the first numbers, okay, so on a FOIL, those are the first numbers. We're going to put a 1x and a 2x. So the first terms we're guessing are 1 and 2's. For the last terms, we're saying that the numbers are a 1 and a 3. Or maybe a 3 and a 1. So now to check. Also keep in mind the C is negative, so my signs have to be one of each. So here I have a 3x. Here on the inner product I have a 2x. That could give me a -5 if they were both negatives, but we already said it has to be one of each, so that's not going to work. Here I have a 1x and a 6x. That can give me a -5 if I subtract the 6. Alright, let's write down here the factors of A. So the factors of 3 are 1 and 3. Now for the factors of C, I have 2 possibilities, 1 and 8, 2 and 4. So when in doubt, pick the numbers that are closer together. So again, I'm going to put my 2 binomials. Okay, so for the first terms, I only have one guess. They have to be a 1 and a 3. For the last terms, I'm saying they've got a 2 and a 4, or maybe you put the 4 and the 2. Again, the C has to multiply to be a negative, so my signs have to be one of each. And so now I'm going to test. Here's a 4x and a 6x. Those could give me a 10 if they were both positive, and we just said we have to have one of each, so that's not going to work. Here's a 2x, inner product is a 12x. That could give me a 10 if I subtract the 2, and one's a positive and one's a negative. So on the 2 it needs to be negative, and on the 12 term it needs to be positive. So there are my 2 binomials. Alright, let's try one more and then we'll try the slip and slide. So factors of 7 are 1 and 7. Factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. So here's where the guess and check could get more time consuming because there's more factors. So at least I only have one option here, and I'm going to go ahead and choose the numbers closer together. Now, they have to multiply to be a positive, so that means they're either both positives or both negatives. And the outer inner product has to give me a -31, so our signs are going to be double negatives. Alright, so let's start guessing. Remember, you have 2 sets for every number over here. The first terms have to be the 1x and the 7x. So 1x and 7x. And then we're going to put the 3 and the 4 for the last terms, or maybe you put the 4 and the 3. So now let's test. Here's a 4x and a 21x. There's no way that's going to add or subtract to give me 31. Here's a 3x and a 28x. To give me -31, they would both have to be double negatives like we said. So double negatives. There's my answer. Alright, so now let's try the slip and slide method. I know I haven't shown you guys this before, but it's a little bit different, but you might like it better. Alright, so instead of doing the factors of A and the factors of C, we're going to go ahead and multiply A times C. So we're going to take A times C, so 30 times -1 is -30, and I'm going to write it as x squared plus x minus 30. Okay, so now I'm going to write down the factors of 30 that can give me a 1x. So 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6, there we go. That can give me a 1 if I subtract the 5 and add the 6. So we're going to go ahead and put our binomials, and we're going to say x times x, -5, +6, multiplies to be -30, and they add to give me 1. However, I multiplied by 30 to begin with, so I need to remember to divide that back out. This is the step that students usually forget. I'm going to reduce that. So 5/30 reduces to 1/6. 6/30 reduces to 1/5. And because we don't want our binomials to have fractions, we're going to take the denominator and move it in front. So move it in front, you're going to have a 6x minus 1. Move it in front, you're going to have a 5x plus 1. Okay, if you're like, I don't like that method, then stick with the guess and check. All right, let's try another one. So I'm going to take 5 times 3, so I'm going to say a times c is 15, and I want two numbers that'll multiply to be 15 that'll give me a -7. Okay, so not 1 and 15, not 2. So 3 and 5 is not going to give me that either. So because this can't give me a -7, and that can't give me a -7, and there's no other option, this is not factorable. Okay, we don't run into those very often. Okay, let's try another one. Let's say multiply a times c. So that's going to give us -10. And I'm going to write down the factors of 10 that can give me a 9, like 1 and 10. To give me a -9, I want the 10 to be negative. So I'm going to put my binomial, x plus 1, x minus 10. Remember how we multiplied the 2 through? Well, we need to divide the 2 out. And that can't reduce, and I don't want the denominator, so we're going to bump it out front. That can reduce though. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So there are my two binomials. Okay, let's look at number 10. First of all of these numbers are divisible by 3. So let's factor out that greatest common factor. If I divide everything by a 3, this is what I have left. Okay, now again, I can take 1 times -4. Okay, factors of 4 that'll give me a 3 would be 1 and 4. It would have to be 4 minus 1. So I'm going to say x minus 1, x plus 4. Now I know I multiplied the 1 through, but if I divide those both by 1, that's not going to change anything. So that's my answer. Okay. All right, let's try this one. I'm going to go the guessing method. So factors that multiply to be 3, 1 and 3. Factors that multiply to be 5, 1 and 5. Not a lot of options, so I'm going to guess pretty quickly. Okay. Again, the signs, because it multiplies to be a negative, I'm going to have one of each sign. So for the first terms, they have to have a 1x and a 3x. The last terms are going to be a 1 and a 5, or a 5 and a 1. And we're going to check the outside, inside product, and see if we get an 8. Okay, so that would give me an 8 if they were both positives, but we said the signs have to be one of each, so that one tricks you. If I multiply here, I get a 1x and a 15x. That can't give me an 8. So this problem is also not factorable. All right, so again, you can guess and check, or you can try this new option, the slip and slide. Either way, just do whichever is better for you.